Hey everyone! So today we are doing a full face of L'Oreal. This is the final look. If you are interested in seeing how I achieved this makeup look, please keep on watching. So today we are doing a full face of L'Oreal and we are just gonna hop right in. So for primer today, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Matte Lock Mattifying Longwear Primer. Oh, this has like a creamy white texture. For some reason, I thought that this primer was going to be, I don't know, maybe a little silicone-y, but it's actually not. It kind of feels more like a moisturizer. And it doesn't really have a fragrance. It kind of just smells like, you know, the ingredients that it's made out of. Alright. Just gonna make sure that's all pushed in. Today for foundation, we're using one of my favorites. It's the L'Oreal Infallible Fresh Wear. This stuff is so nice, lightweight on the skin, long wearing. This is one of my top recommendations for foundation in the drugstore. It just wears so nicely on the skin. It's lightweight. Has a satin, kind of a satin matte finish. More satin than matte, but it isn't as dewy as some other foundations that I've tried. It just leaves your skin, like its claims, looking fresh on the skin, and I just really like how this looks and wears. So for concealer today, I'm using the L'Oreal Infallible Full Wear Concealer. Now this concealer is, some people say, can be a dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape because it has a similar doe foot applicator, thick applicator. And this consistency is very full coverage, so a little goes a long way. Has a thicker consistency, which is nice, and this really does cover. The concealer and foundation are probably one of my top favorite products in the drugstore and for this brand in general. Just the coverage, the wear, how it looks on the skin, the longevity is just better than anything else I've tried. So today for bronzer and contour, I'm going to be using some cream products of L'Oreal's. Now these are the Infallible sticks. So this is actually a foundation shade, but I'm using this for contour today. This is in the shade Cocoa. So I'm going to just go ahead and start by drawing it onto the skin. Hopefully it's not too dark. When I was looking, you know, when I was trying to build up the products I wanted to use for this video, I was really struggling to find powder versions of the bronzer in Walmart and CVS and Walgreens, and I just kept coming back to this foundation stick, and I was like, you know what, I think I can use that as a bronzer, and you can do that with any foundation stick. You can use those as cream bronzers, as cream contours. And the cool thing about it being a foundation stick is that it actually provides some coverage. So just doing on the perimeters here. But when it, like I was saying, when it comes to powders, I wasn't finding any L'Oreal bronzers besides the Lumi bronzers, which I tend to not really gravitate towards luminous bronzers because my skin is more combo oily, and things with shimmer in it tend to emphasize the texture on my skin. So I wanted something that was more matte, that didn't have any shimmer in it. And so that's why I went for that foundation stick as my contour. So today for blush, however, they also had these Infallible Longwear Shaping Stick, and they had 2 blush shades. So I found that would work great for this video, since a lot of the products I'm using are actually creams and liquids. I'm not really using a lot of powder products because, like I was saying with the bronzer, they had that luminizing Lumi bronzer, but that's not really something I typically go for. They had True Match blushes, but I figured if I was going to stick with creams and liquids, I might as well just do that for blush and stuff as well. So I was really happy to find this. So I'm just going to you know, dot some on the cheeks here lightly, and then use a stippling brush and just sort of blend it out. Since a lot of my products are cream and liquid, the cool thing about that is when you're using a lot of creams and liquids, if you feel like something is a little too much or too pigmented, you can take your foundation brush or sponge and just go over the edge lightly to blend everything out so that it's looking more seamless and it takes down some of the pigmentation. So like I was saying with the blush, they also had some cream highlighters. So this is the Infallible Sculpt Stick Illuminator. That's basically a fancy word for highlighter. So I'm going to just like I did with the blush, I'm just going to tap it on the skin and then use my finger to blend out. Now, I don't think that deposited a lot down, so I'm going to use my finger for the other side and see. Yes, that did a little bit better. Overall, right now, my skin is looking very, you know, dewy, which is not something I typically go for. Now granted, these are cream products, and most times when you use cream products, they are going to be a little bit more dewy. But I do have a Infallible Pro Sweep Setting Translucent Powder. So I think that when I use this, sort of mattify everything a little. So I'm just going to take that and get a good dusting on my brush and just start to press it in. So far, I'm liking how the complexion is looking with the foundation and then the cream products that I used. So now we're going to move on to the brows, and I'm really interested to try this. This is the L'Oreal Micro Ink Pen by Brow Stylist. So it has these like little divots into the pen that are supposed to mimic brow hairs. So we're going to try this out and see how it fills in my brows. So the interesting thing about this pen so far, besides the little ridges that are supposed to mimic the brow hairs is it has the tip. So you can turn the pen to make individual brow hairs, and then you can turn it in the other direction and use those little divots to create multiple brow hairs. I am finding that as I'm using the pen, I'm using more of the one point instead of the little divots, because I feel like the divots aren't actually providing that brow hair stroke like it's supposed to. So I'm just doing that using the one sharp tip. I am going to move on to eyeshadow. So for shadows today, L'Oreal did have some eyeshadow palettes, but I wasn't quite intrigued by those as much as I was with the individual shadow colors. Now, a while back, they came out with a line called the Crushed Foils. These are metallic eyeshadows, and I have all 3 shades of that. I have the gold, the diamond dust, and then this is a more crushed stone is the name of it, but it's more of like a brown with a gold reflect in it. My favorite, I think, definitely is diamond dust. It just leaves this beautiful sheen on the lids. But another good eyeshadow, individual eyeshadow that L'Oreal creates is the Infallible paints. Now this is a metallic shade, and this is in the shade Rose Gold. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt to use the cream bronzer, which is a foundation shade, but I'm going to use that, I think, in the crease on a brush, and then take some of these individual shadows and layer them on the lid. So we're just going to see how this goes. If I had a powder bronzer, I'd be using a powder bronzer instead, but since I have this cream, I'm going to use that. Now I did take my concealer up over my eyelids as an eyeshadow base today. Typically I like using an actual eyeshadow base, but I did not find one when I was in the store. So I'm dipping into directly on the stick, and then I'm sort of tapping off any of the excess and then blending it. So it leaves this soft layer of pigment. So now that I have sort of a transition shade down, I am going to start going in with these individual shadows. I think I'm going to use this Rose Gold shade on the lid, and then I'm going to tap in this diamond dust over top and closer to the inner portion of the eye. I don't know if you can really see the shift of this, but this is just a beautiful pink icy eyeshadow. Oh, I just love it so much. And I'm using my fingertips because sometimes when you're doing your makeup, the best option is using your fingers. It really deposits the pigment so you can see it. And it's quick and easy. And I felt like as I was putting together the products for this one brand tutorial, with all the creams that I was using for the complexion, it was just seeming easy. And so when it came to the eyeshadow with these single eyeshadows, I just wanted to make an easy look. So that's what we're doing, and we're just using our best tools, and that is our fingers. Take the brush that I used with the contour shade, and I'm just gonna sweep over top just to bring some definition back and to sort of blend in with that rose gold shade. right, now my favorite part. I'm gonna take this Diamond Dust shade on my finger. I mean, I don't know if you can see that shade, but it's just, let's see here. I don't know if you can see that, but oh, it's just so beautiful. So beautiful on the eyelid. So I'm gonna take that and just tap that right into the inner, just to give a little bit more shimmer in that inner portion there. Kind of blending it towards the center. So now that I have the eyes shadow done, I am going to spray my face with the Infallible Pro Spray Set Makeup Extender Setting Spray. Shake it up. I tend to do setting spray before I do mascara just because when I do the mascara, I don't want it to smudge or transfer onto my eyelids, and sometimes when you spray setting spray over top of mascara, it re-wets it and can cause some transfer. So for that reason, I sprayed first, and then now that it's drying a little bit, I'm just gonna tap it in, going over the edges, just softening and pressing that setting spray into the skin and smoothing everything over. I have two mascaras today. I have the L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise, and I also have the L'Oreal Bambi Eye Mascara. Now the wands are different. So this is the Bambi Eye. You can kind of see it has a big wand. It's plastic, and it has these plastic bristles that are really good for separation. And then we have the Lash Paradise. Now this isn't a plastic bristle like the other one. This is a brush bristle, typical mascara. I am taking off some of the product because this is the one I'm going to use. I got both of these and I wanted to try them out separately, and I have tried both of them out, and so far I've found that for me, I love a more voluminous mascara look, and so this mascara does that for me. So you can see this has a more hourglass shaped bristle, and it's not that plastic bristle. This is more of like a brush bristle, so it's really gonna give you those voluminous lashes. A lot of product comes off of this brush when you are first using it, so I would definitely recommend, you know, wiping some of the product off before you apply to lashes. Even when I did that, I still got a little bit of mascara on my eyelid, which I'm gonna clean up in a moment. But definitely something I would recommend doing for this mascara, but I like this one a lot more than the Bambi Eye. I like the effect it gives, and I like the longevity that it wears. This one, I found, does give good lengthening. However, it does transfer it throughout the day on my eyelids. So I'm gonna let that dry, and I'm gonna apply a second coat. Now, if you ever find that you get mascara on your eyelids when you apply, the tip is to let it dry, and then you can use a brush right away and it comes right off. If you go in immediately when you apply your mascara and it's wet, it can smudge everywhere and then it's harder to clean up. So I'm just gonna let that dry before I apply another coat. So while that is drying, we're gonna go in with the lips. For liner today, I'm using the L'Oreal Color Riche lip liner in Forever Rose. I like this lip liner because it is a semi-creamy dry formula. Now I know that's kind of contradictory sounding, but the pigmentation is very creamy, but the pencil itself is a little drier so that you have a little bit more control when applying. But the pigmentation of it is that more creamy, you know, gel-like consistency. But with the dryness of the actual pencil itself, that is what makes it easier to use when lining, at least I'm finding for myself. So definitely a good lip liner. So for the lip color that I'm using today, I'm using one of my all-time favorites, and that's the L'Oreal Rouge Ink Lip Stain lipsticks. This is my favorite lip product from them. Now they do have some beautiful lipsticks, but I love this. I love this stuff. This provides beautiful pigmentation. My favorite part about it is that it feels like you're wearing nothing on the lips when it dries down, and it really doesn't transfer. It does a slight bit, but not as much as some other lipsticks that I've used, liquid lipsticks that I've used. This stuff is just one of my top favorite lip items from the drugstore. I'm gonna apply a second coat of mascara. I think as this mascara gets older and the formula dries a little bit, I think that would make me love this mascara even more, because right now it is new and it's still very creamy, and so I'm having to wipe off a lot of excess off of the brush. But when mascara formulas get a little drier, sometimes they're just so much easier and better to apply, and they just give your lashes a beautiful effect. So, all right, I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to take care of the mess that I made on the top of my lids. While that's happening, I'm gonna assess the situation a little bit and see if there's anything else I want to add. I think the bronzer is good. I'm going to use what is left on this brush with the blush that I used and just sort of stipple a little bit. And just like that, the smudged mascara is gone. So here we are with the final look. I am going to do some check-ins today so that we can see how the makeup is wearing throughout the day. But I know for a fact already, some of my favorite products from L'Oreal are the Infallible Fresh Wear Foundation, the Infallible Full Cover Concealer, and the L'Oreal Rouge Ink Lip Stains. These are my favorite products from L'Oreal right now. I know how they work, I love how they work, and I would recommend these to anybody. Now as for the eyes, I love this Diamond Dust Crushed Foil shade. This was a collection that came out a while ago, so I'm not 100% sure if it's still around. But if it is and you're able to find it, I would pick it up in a heartbeat. For the mascara, I am loving this L'Oreal Voluminous Lash Paradise. This has been a mascara that has been recommended many times for a great drugstore mascara, and I'm so glad that I've been able to try it because I can totally see why people love it. Now, like I was saying, it is a very, you know, wet consistency when you use it immediately. So maybe waiting a little while for it to dry down is going to give you a better effect and make it easier to use. So I think that's what I'm gonna do for myself, is wait and see as this dries a little bit and gets a little bit drier of a consistency as I've been opening it, that seeing how it wears. But right now I think it is giving my lashes a beautiful voluminous look. Now the L'Oreal Bambi Eye Mascara. really isn't my favorite. You know, if I had to pick between the two, I mean, clearly you know what my pick is going to be. So I would say if you're looking for lengthening and separation, this would be a good one for you, but it does transfer on my eyelids. So I would keep that in mind if you decide you want to try this. See if that is something that bothers you. Because for me, throughout the day, when I start getting raccoon eyes because of my mascara, that is not really my thing. So lengthening and separation, yes. Transfer, maybe if you have shorter eyelashes, this wouldn't do that, but it would provide that lengthening and separation. Lip liner, great, I love it. And we will have to see how the, prepping products work. So the matte primer and the Pro Sweep and Lock Transfer setting powder. Now I think that it did set everything in place, but I'm not seeing a matte effect with this setting powder, so I think it's just gonna set everything down, but it's not going to take away any of the satin finish on the skin. As you can see that it's not really doing that for me. It is just setting the foundation down. So if you're looking for more matte coverage, you might want to invest in one of the foundation powders. And then the last thing I have here is the setting spray. So again, just like the powder and the primer, we're just gonna have to see how the foundation wears throughout the day. I'm definitely interested in seeing how these cream products last throughout the day. Typically, I find with cream products that they tend to wear away pretty quickly as the day goes on. So I'm interested to see if these last throughout the day. So those are just some of the things that I'm looking for when it comes to these products. We're gonna see how things wear, and we will check in later in the day. Hey everyone, so we're about 6 hours in. So we're gonna zoom in. Everything is looking pretty good. You are seeing a little bit of texture, but the blush and contour are still there. The lip stain is still on my lips. My oils are coming through a little bit through the T-zone, but it's not looking too bad. It's just looking like a glowy finish. So overall, things are wearing pretty well considering. I will say, so far, the primer and I think the setting powder are not really doing what I expected them to do. The primer is supposed to mattify, and I don't really think it achieved that. I think it just gave a nice tacky base for the makeup to go on top. But I also think that the setting powder did not mattify. It literally just locked everything in place. So things to keep in mind. All right, so we will have one more chicken at the end of the day. All right, so we are now here at the end of the day, and I'm gonna zoom in a little bit. As you can see, there is a little bit of transfer on my nose. The texture is just shining through a little bit, and the oils did come through, but it doesn't look too bad. So overall, I'm fairly satisfied with how this makeup wore today. And I'm definitely going to try using these products with some of my other favorites and see how they hold up against those. So I hope you all enjoyed this video, and I hope you'll have a great rest of your day. Bye. Thank you guys so much for watching this video today. I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day. I would love it if you would like and subscribe to this channel. And if you like this video, feel free to comment down below. Also, in the description bar down below, I have many other videos like this, including other full faces and some other awesome videos to check out. So again, thanks so much for watching, and I hope you all have a good one. Bye.